Hello, friends. So, welcome to another podcast in the series of HR to CHRO. And today I'm very happy to have Miss Nandini Mehta with me for the podcast. And she started her career with Will's Lifestyle, Trent, Max Lifestyle, Lifestyle International, and is currently CHRO of Metro brand. So, welcome, Nandini. Thanks for giving us time.
Thank you so much, Amit. Glad to be part of this, the whole series that you're working on.
Thank you. So, see, I have so many things to start with, but I would like to start or let me share that. See, I am a corporate trainer, so I train corporate professionals, and training girls is a challenge for me. I'll tell you why. See, men, ultimately, my behavioral trainings, we make the people participants more productive, and we train them on mind techniques to do that, and to make men become more productive is relatively very easy because usually they waste so much time during the day, cigarette breaks, coffee breaks, social media. At night they'll watch web series, or they waste from 1 hour to up to 3 hours during an average day. So it's very easy for us to make them more productive. But when I'm talking to girls, they hardly waste any time. I mean, they are so productive anyway. It's work, then they have to take care of the family, fooding, etc., everything, and then they have to take care of the kids, their education, they have to teach them, so they hardly waste any time. So it's a challenge for me that how do I help them become more productive, because they are anyway so productive. So, and that is why maybe, this is my fifth or sixth podcast, but this is the first time I am having doing the podcast with a lady. Maybe because they have so many things on their plate. So, what is the secret of your success?
Very interesting question. I think for me, like you rightly said, being highly productive. And while you did mention that women are anyways very productive, I would not really want to differentiate between a male and a female from that sense, because I think when you are a working professional, irrespective of your gender or your background, I think you are here to deliver the results that are expected out of you. And I think success to me comes with two, three things. Uh, Before anything else, I think it's important to understand what your role is in the organization
Okay,
and how can you make a difference. I think when one understands that, how can you make a difference as an individual to the organization and the achievement of the organization goals, I think you will be able to deliver better.
correct.
The second important thing is, while people may say smart work and work-life balance, etc., I think these are all misconceptions. What matters is hard work. And when I say hard work, I don't just mean working hard in your role. It also means how can you work hard on yourself,
Okay,
right? How important to continuously learn, important to talk to your stakeholders and understand. So, most of the time, especially what I see here is more for students, right? So most of the time, what happens is we have got educated on a particular subject. So here we are talking about HR. So let's say I'm an MBA in HR. I've learned all the theory of HR. But when I come to work in a corporate, the practical aspects of HR are very different from the theory.
correct.
So, as an individual, I think it's very important to understand in the organization that you're working in, what is required.
Okay,
I think one uh, has to be able to understand that, right? And if one understands that, I think the way they will be able to deliver will be much better. And the third, so one I said was, understanding your role. Second, I said was working hard. And when I say working hard, doesn't necessarily mean working hard in your role. It means working hard on yourself every day.
correct.
And the third aspect is that practical and theory are very different. So be prepared that you cannot just paste a theory into practice and say this is how I'll do it. May not always work. And I think the fourth very important thing is to be able to understand what the stakeholders want from you and what the organization or the department requires from you, and be able to deliver the best results. So I would say these four things are very, very important. And I would also give these four areas as the reason for my success.
Very nice, very succinctly put, Nandini. So, the like you said, the most important thing is to understand what your role is and how you can make a difference. So, generally, this is again a big differentiator from top achievers and maybe people who are yet to reach the top is that they understand their role and how they can make a difference. So, it's very powerful, and generally people don't follow this. So, it's like a
Right.
routine thing that they do every day. Very nice. All right. So, see, one common factor in some of the CHROs, in fact, in many of the CHROs with whom I've been fortunate enough to do this podcast series, is that many of them they started their career not from HR. They were a couple of them were in sales, a couple of them were in operations, and similarly, you also started your career in operations. So, does that understanding the operations or the business, does that help an HR professional to rise faster in his or her career?
A very interesting question. And the reason I was kind of thinking for a moment is I wonder, uh, if there is any difference between someone who doesn't come from an HR background and someone who comes with an HR background. So I'll give my answer slightly differently. I think it doesn't really matter whether you are an MBA in HR and started your career in HR, or you've been in sales or marketing or whatever other area and moved into HR. What really matters, like I told you earlier also, is to understand what is required from your role, what your stakeholders expect from you, what your business head expects from you, and be able to deliver on that. And the reason I say what I say is I have also seen many, core HR professionals being extremely successful. And I'm an example of a non-core HR professional who's also been very successful. And I would not like to take away, the credit from those who are core HR professionals, because I think a lot of them have done really well for themselves, and only because they've been able to understand the business and deliver what is expected, or they've been able to influence, the management on what really needs to be done by HR. And the same goes with anyone who's non-HR. So the reason I've been successful is also because I knew what was expected of me, and I've been able to deliver that. And I've been able to align with my stakeholders, my managers. I've been able to get work done from my team. So there are a lot of components, and it really doesn't matter whether you are core HR or not a core
Or
HR.
I'll put it in a different way. All the people who I have been interacting with at CHRO level, their understanding of business is very good. I mean, either they have come from operations or they have made an effort to understand business. So, which is one core factor which I think, like you
Yes,
mentioned,
perfect.
managing these stakeholders, what is required to be done. So, if you could elucidate on that a little bit, Nandini.
Okay. So I'll give you two examples. One is the example of my current organization, and the other is an example of my previous organization, which was Max. So I think in so Max is where I moved into an HR role. I joined them as a head for training, and then I moved into a head HR role. And interestingly, when I moved into that role, prior to me, I had three HR heads who had joined and left in a span of 3 years.
Okay.
And finally, they decided internally that I should be moved into that role. And that's how HR happened to me. And for me, my biggest driver was my CEO, my CHRO have trusted me and given me this role. And whatever happens, I have to succeed in it. That was one. Number two, if three people who are all, they've done their MBA in HR from good institutes and have not been able to deliver on this role, what went wrong?
Correct.
And this is where my journey started. And so the first thing I did was I just went to it was a retail, role. So I went to all the stores. I went to the regions. I spoke to all my regional managers. I spoke to the staff. I spoke to the store managers. I spoke to my teams in all the regions to understand where the issues are. And once I got all this information, I put it together and I put down what I think I need to do to streamline things from an HR perspective. I presented it to my CEO and CHRO. They kind of course, gave their inputs wherever required. And post that, I also presented it to my regional managers, my team, saying this is the journey we want to take in HR. If you have any thoughts, please let us know. Took their inputs, and then my next, 2, 3 years was just working on that. Of course, I phased it out as to what I'll do first, and I
Very
think that
nice.
brought in a but
Correct.
a copy paste never works. A lot of success for me because it was a buy-in from everyone, and it was basically it was a reflection of whatever they had told me, right, which I had put into that work. So that's what I mean by aligning to stakeholders. Now, when I joined here, I joined Metro Brands 4 years ago, and Metro Brands is a very different organization from Max. And most of the time, what leaders do at various levels of leadership is when they move to a different organization, they just want to copy paste whatever
Correct.
they've done. And I had to understand again, from my stakeholders, from my management, what is it that HR needs to deliver here, and I had to put a plan to deliver on that. The style of working here is very different. So while in Max, I was given that space that okay, now you've told us, now go ahead and do. We'll support you wherever required. Here it works very differently. We go by phases. We need to get the acceptance from the management for every initiative that we do. So I need to also change my style of working accordingly. If I don't change my style of working, I'm going to get frustrated. So I think here what I had to do is I had to check with management what needs to be delivered. I had to put a few things together in discussion with my stakeholders.
Very
So it was
nice.
not about asking my stakeholders what you want. It was more about my management telling me what they want and then
Mhm.
me getting the buy-in from my stakeholders by discussing with them, what do you think if I do this? How can I do this better? What can I add? So I think it's been a very different way of managing
Both the
the
things.
requirements in this organization. So I think one size doesn't fit all. You have to look at the needs of an organization, of your stakeholders, of your management before you're able to deliver. And while I'm speaking on behalf of HR right now, I think this applies for any.
Correct. Correct. And the important learning here is that the amount of time you are able to spend with the front line or with the at the regional level, going and visiting them, understanding them, and getting a buy-in, even if you have to drive something, getting a buy-in from them, which is very refreshing because generally people are so busy in their own things that they don't have time to do that. They don't take out time to do that, and they just try to drive something. This is one very powerful learning. Second, like you said, another powerful learning is keeping your ego at bay. So not trying to implement whatever has worked in the past in a new organization and being open minded. And so that is again very refreshing, which is again, you don't find very often, especially at the senior level.
Yeah, true. That's true. Most of the time, senior level, that's what has happened. We come with, so full of ourselves and our egos that we think we know it all. I'm being very candid. A lot of us, at senior levels have that mindset. And I think, very often it doesn't work for everyone.
Correct. So now you talked about continuous learning. Now, how does, and especially like I mentioned, being a lady, it is that much more difficult for, it's difficult for everybody, I'm sure, but it's that they, because the responsibilities are higher. So how are you, or what would be your message to young HR professionals and to young professionals in any field on how can they find time to continuously learn?
So Amit, my story is very different. I think from the age of 30, I've been single. So I've not really had those issues. But yeah, and when I was married, I was a housewife.
Okay.
So it's like I had the time then, and post that also I had all the time. So I don't know if, a lot of young HR professionals will relate to me from that sense. But one thing I can tell that when, and this is something that we all constantly talk about from a motivational perspective, that if you set your heart to something, you can find time to do it,
Correct.
irrespective of how busy you are. And in my case, my story has been that I started off in teaching
Hmm.
initially.
Hmm.
And when I started teaching, my principal said I was very good at teaching and I should get myself educated on that. So I did a B.Ed.
Okay.
Then I moved into retail operations. Of course, retail operations, there are courses on operations, but at that time I was still doing my B.Ed.
Hmm.
And then I moved into training. So when I moved into training, I got myself certified as a trainer and facilitator. When I moved into HR, I got myself certified from XLRI. I did my PGCHRM. And when I moved into a senior leadership role, I decided to also get myself certified as a coach. So I also did a certification on coaching from CFI. So I've constantly ensured that I educate myself, but that's one way of learning. But I think but the best teacher is life experiences.
Okay.
And what can teach you the most is the mistakes you make, be it in your personal life, be it at work, and how do you learn from those mistakes and, ensure that you don't repeat that mistake again. So I
Correct.
think the biggest learning is from your day-to-day life, more than, the education per se. And one of the best ways to learn is to look at every individual as a teacher
Okay.
and every experience as a teacher. So, what I normally do is when I go back home in the evening, I spend 10 or 15 minutes reflecting on my day.
Very nice.
And I look at, what I think I did well. I also look at, what I could have done better. So sometimes, you get into an argument with someone for something. And in the evening, when I reflect, I just feel I shouldn't have done that. I could have handled this better. I shouldn't have spoken like this. I should have probably spoken this way. So when I reflect on what I've done during the day, it also helps me correct myself every day. So I think it's a very powerful
Correct.
way of also learning and changing. But what becomes very important here is to be self-aware.
Okay.
If I think, ठीक है मैंने किया है उसमें क्या है, it's not a big deal, then I'm never going to learn from
Correct.
my own actions.
Correct.
Uh, and I don't do that, but I think another way of also doing this is to write down.
Okay.
I don't write down because uh, you know I guess I've not been in the habit of doing it, but writing down also, if somebody loves to write and wants to maintain a diary, I think there's nothing better than that. So I think that's what reflection, learning from your daily activities, apart from educating yourself, learning from your mentors. You should have a mentor who you look up to, who you can learn from. And when I say mentor, may not be someone you're interacting with day in and day out, but someone you look up to as, from whom you can learn things. And these mentors can be multiple, need not be one. So I've got two wonderful bosses in my previous organization, my CEO and my CHRO. Both were very different personalities, but I've learned so much from both of them.
Very nice.
So I think it's important to always look at what good you can take from the others and incorporate that in yourself. That's also a huge way of learning.
These are all very powerful habits. So day and review, it is so powerful. I mean, to the young professionals who are listening, who will be listening, 1% improvement per day is so powerful by the next year, so that
Absolutely.
is definitely one way where you can improve time. But see, generally when I talk to people, so they say, because they are not that organized maybe, that they have to work so hard to excel in their day-to-day activities. This is one. And I mean, obviously give them solutions, but I would love to hear your solution. So on one hand, there is challenge to excel in your own job day to day, day in, day out, and you have to find time to improve. So like you said, day end review, having a mentor, writing down everything. These all help. What else do you do? Or what else would you suggest?
So I am a little, I struggle when someone says that I am working hard to excel every day, because I don't think excelling in something should be your aim.
Okay,
I think one's aim should be on, like I told you, understanding what your role is in the organization and delivering to the best of your
okay,
abilities. Yeah, and that need not be excellence.
okay,
It's about okay. So let me give you an example. I have 10 tasks to complete today. Um I put down my priority. Now, out of these 10 tasks, it's possible that 6 tasks, my timelines are today.
okay,
These
okay,
4 tasks. 4 tasks, my timelines could be probably end of the week or tomorrow, but not today. So obviously, my priority will be to complete those 6 tasks. So my entire focus has to be on how quickly can I complete those 6 tasks, right? And once I complete those 6 tasks, if I have extra time, I will try and start working on the remaining 4 so that tomorrow I have that much less time to tasks, right? And I think so. It's all about structure. It's all about planning. It's all about knowing how much time you're going to take to do that.
okay,
Sometimes it is also about taking help.
okay,
So let's say my work is on Excel and there are 2, 3 things I have to do which I don't understand on Excel. That I will waste time if I'm going to still sit and figure out how I'm going to
okay.
do rather than reaching out to someone who knows it and say कि भाई ये थोड़ा मुझे 5 मिनट में सिखा दो so that I can, and then work in front of them to check if you understood, becomes easier for you to do it. Most of the time, even I've seen younger professionals, they don't want to be vulnerable.
Again, the ego factor comes into
Correct.
play.
They don't want to show that they don't know. So they
Correct,
end up not reaching out for help. And
correct,
they say what could have been completed in 5 minutes, they struggle to complete even in an hour. And that is where efficiencies drop, and that is where you feel you're not excelling at what you're doing.
correct.
So I think the most important thing is for us to create an ecosystem where we are able to go and ask for help and where we are also able to help others.
I think it
If
again
we
boils down from how much are you open to help others, because then people also are open to
Yes,
help you.
yes.
Correct.
I
Very
don't know if
powerful.
what I say makes sense, but I think for me, excelling and at work it only comes with this. It's not about excelling without knowing how to excel.
Very nice. Very powerful. These are very powerful words, Nandini. Okay, see, nowadays, ever since social media has come into the play since 2011, there has been a huge change in the fabric of the society, in the mental makeup of people. The mental stress has increased so much, and people nowadays, with the changing lifestyle, the personal issues, challenges, the rate of those personal challenges cropping up has increased substantially. Traffic, pollution, etc., also contribute to that. So, as a person who has had challenges in the life, how would you advise? What would be your advice to people who are facing personal challenges? How to, go beyond that?
Very, very tough question to answer because when I
It will
reflect
help a
back,
lot. It will help a lot of people.
yeah,
Very coming from a powerful, from a senior person like you, it will help.
no, no, I will of course answer, but I'm just saying it's a very difficult question to answer. The reason I'm saying is, when we are going through the challenge, we do have tough times. We
Correct.
cannot, mentally we are stressed. It affects us physically, emotionally, and there's no two ways about it that we can overcome that easily.
Correct.
The degree of intensity in which we go through it varies from person to person, depending on the way you've been brought up, the way you've been able to handle difficulties, etc. But I think for me, from the time I've started working, I can be a bit vulnerable here. I think I had lost a lot of my confidence, my the initial stages of my life post my college. I was completely, I mean, I thought I was just worthless. So when I decided I want to work, I think one of my main focuses was to prove to the world that I am worthy of something. And irrespective of the challenges that I faced, I never ever allowed that to come in my way to grow in my career.
Very powerful.
And yeah, there have been times when I have got, the situation was so bad that I got into some bad habits. And but I am very quick at picking up myself, so I gather myself every time I kind of deviate from what I think I want to do. I may deviate for a while, but then I always gather myself and come back saying, no, this is not what I meant to be doing. This is what I meant. So I think it's also a lot of strength, internal strength that one needs to have to be able to overcome challenges, because the easiest thing to for one to do when you are in a challenging situation is to drift away
Correct.
from your focus. So always ensure that your focus is there, and you may, in the way, just deviate a bit, but ensure you always come back. Don't take too long to stay there, drifted. Always ensure you come back to your focus. And I think that has really helped me. Over the years, I've also got into yoga. I've got a lot into self-care. I've tried meditation many times, but I realize meditation is in everything that you do every moment. It's
Correct.
not just sitting there, closing your eyes and being thoughtless, because that's very rare to happen, especially in a busy life like ours. But if you start meditating in everything you do, it's
Correct.
very powerful, and it's really going to help you overcome all your challenges.
It's very mindfulness is very to be able to focus in what you're doing 100%. I mean, that is the ultimate meditation. So yoga, you said, and it's very powerful. So some more details on yoga, on the self care, on how to avoid distractions. So when we are trying to be focused on what we are currently doing, being mindful, how do we avoid distractions? So how does yoga help? What are the techniques, tools in self care which can be used by people? Because see, a lot of people are going through many challenges in their lives, and with social media, uh, it has become so prevalent. So these tools and techniques will be helpful for a lot of people. That is why I'm
So Amit, I think majority of the people today live a fake life. Their lives are more about how do I say, it's more about them wanting to be accepted by the society, by the people around them. It's more about trying to show people that, showing a certain image to the people. That image could be anything, right? Depending on your environment. And it's very easy to get carried away with that. And what yoga really helps you to do is, yoga requires you to be in the moment. It's a lot
correct.
about breathing, it's a lot about slow. And I think that has helped me in terms of being more in peace with myself, being more about not wanting to prove anything to the world, but it's more about proving it to myself. And I told you that initially also. For me, it was never just about proving to the world what I am, but it was about proving to myself my own
Correct.
worth, you
Correct.
know. And I think that that's what one needs to look at. So yoga internalizes a lot in you, and it helps you not to be that slow but strong movements, fake person. That's what I feel. That's how it has impacted me. I don't know how it's going to impact others, but that's how it has impacted me. And the reflection every day that we do is also a type of yoga. While yoga, we talk about the physical
Correct.
exercise, but even that is yoga, because you're internalizing things. You're spending the 10 minutes reflecting on yourself. So you're internalizing a lot. And I think that's also yoga. And like I was telling you, everything you do, be mindful, be there, be in the present, be in that activity. That is yoga, that is meditation, right? So I think these small things, when you start incorporating them into your life, I think you'll find it easier to face challenges. You'll find it easier to accept yourself as you are, and it's definitely going to help you in creating a space for yourself and being yourself.
Very powerful. Very powerful, Nandini. You also spoke about planning and giving a structure to the tasks. So some, thoughts on this.
So again, what I normally do is in the morning, while having breakfast, while getting ready, I just in my right now I'm at a level where I really don't, it's not like these are the 10 tasks I have to complete, but earlier in the time when it was that structure for me, what I always used to do is in the morning I would just jot down what are those, while getting myself prepared for the day, I would just jot down what are those things that I have to do. Previous evening also, I tend to write
Very
down
nice. Very
what are
nice.
the pending activities for the next day. I have my, basically I always have a calendar for everything. So I plan what is my monthly activities that I need to do. And in our roles, we always have timelines, right? By this date, I have to submit these reports to this person. By this date, I have to complete this task and give it to this person. So it's already, from if the company is very structured, if your department is very structured, you already have timelines for everything. So when I already have those timelines put down in my calendar, I know how to work backward, right? That is one way of doing it. Second is always for the next day, try and jot down what are those tasks you do, and try and ensure that if it's a 9-hour work day, you have your tasks in a manner that you complete it in about, let's say, 6.5, 7 hours. Okay, let's take off 1 hour for lunch, etc. So let's say 8 hours. So you plan to complete things in about 6.5 hours. Leave that 1.5 hours for any ad hoc things that may come up,
Very nice.
because ad hoc normally comes, typically your manager may have something that they suddenly ask you to complete, so you may have to complete that. Or it could, in HR though, we continuously keep having people grievances that keep coming up, so you need to also get into that. So I think it's very important to structure your day for about 6 hours so that you have that 2 hours left to finish any ad hoc things that may come in. So I think that's how I have been working all these years, and it's worked brilliantly for me. But not that every time things go as per planned. Sometimes things don't go as per planned as well. And there could be days when I need to stretch at work because, my day has not gone as per plan. So even currently, in my current role, normally what happens is from the time I get into the office to the time I'm here, my 9 hours basically, I am busy getting things sorted for my team,
Hmm.
right? Or there is some issue with some department head and they want to come and spend some time with me. So my day goes in resolving issues. So even today, I spend 1 extra hour every day in the evening where once everybody is gone, I stay back just to clear off my work.
Very nice.
So, not everyone may be willing to do that, but that's my way of working, where I ensure that even if it's that 1 hour extra a day, I'm okay, but I finish whatever has to be completed and then I leave for the day. So that's how I kind of, tend to work.
These are so powerful things to be shared, Nandini. I mean, it sounds so simple, but very difficult to do. So, day end review, next day planning, waking up early, and spending time in your giving finer edge to your rough plan for the day, which you do in the morning, and then planning that 1.5 hour every day is there for ad hoc things which come up. These are so very powerful. But again, like you shared, you start monthly planning beforehand, so that is what gives the structure to the entire month. And then I'm sure you would be doing it for the week also on a weekend or on a Sunday. I mean, these such small habits are so very powerful. And there is no other secret to success. I mean, everybody has got the same IQ and, everything else. These are very powerful.
Thank you. And I think in HR, not HR, every function. We also
Correct.
do, it again depends on the organization, but at an organization level, there is a lot of annual planning that happens.
Correct.
And in my earlier organization, we were very used to doing a retreat once a year, strategy meet once a
Mm-hmm.
year,
Mm-hmm.
and that strategy meet decided what we are to deliver in the next year.
Correct. Annual planning is also very
Yeah,
powerful.
and I think it's a management style. That was my CEO style of working, and I think it worked brilliantly for all of us because we already knew almost 3 months in advance what we have to deliver for the next year.
Very
Right.
nice.
So there is an annual plan, which then gets broken up into quarterly plans, which then get broken up into monthly and then weekly and daily. So that's how we used to work.
So,
Uh,
so these additional education qualifications you took in your job, so did you plan for them beforehand that next year this is what I'm going to do, maybe the HRI course or
no, because all the education that I've taken have been based on the roles I've got.
very nice, very nice.
So, like I told you, when I took up teaching, my principal said you should get educated. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Did
educated as
the
in teacher
BEd. Yeah,
education. So
yeah,
I did my B.Ed. When I became a trainer, I thought I should understand concepts so that it's easier for me to, be successful in the role. So I did my certification on that. HR, I had no background of HR. So I just thought at least I should understand how HR works
correct.
and what are the various things that HR has to deliver. And that's why I did my, the only thing that I planned was probably the coaching, uh, getting certified
Correct.
as a coach. That was the only thing which
Correct.
I had planned that I would do the next year, and I did that. Yeah.
So does see a lot of people struggle with social media, wasting time on social media, swiping reels and etc. So does yoga, how are you able to manage that? Does yoga help or is it self-discipline? How do you go about it? See
No,
why?
Amit, I do spend time on
Yeah, yeah,
social
yeah,
media.
yeah.
I won't
But
lie
people
here,
sometimes they
but
spend 2.5 hours, 3 hours on
uh,
social media.
so my weekends are a little more on social media.
Correct.
Not weekdays because weekdays I don't get that much of time. But that doesn't mean I don't. So I give about, let's say, about half an hour. Uh, Even every day there is half an hour which goes on social media because LinkedIn is one thing which
Correct.
helps HR a lot. So I
So
spend quite a
I
bit
will
of time
not put
on LinkedIn
LinkedIn. I will not. Sorry, I will
in
not put
social
LinkedIn
media.
social media. It's a
Okay.
learning and a career building platform for me, or at least the way it is supposed to be used.
Right, right. So for me, even when I go through social media, I think it's more about connecting with people I know. Just kind of, a smile comes to my face when I see any of my friends have gone somewhere and put up a picture. While we may talk, but then sometimes it just kind of,
Correct.
so that's social media for me. Sometimes you get some information there as well, which helps you. So that's how I spend about half an hour on a day. Weekends are a little longer. But again, like I told you, anything where it derails me from my focus,
Correct.
I get back to focus. If I feel I'm spending too much time, then I just, put my phone aside and start doing something that I need to do. So I think that's how I manage it. But I will not be fake here and say no, I don't use social media. I do spend a lot of time on social media. Yes.
No, that's
But
okay.
it's more about, so I the way I look at it, Amit, is a lot of people today spend time on social media and they get influenced by it.
Correct.
And I think that's what is not okay. One is that. Second is, what do you browse on the social media? That is also important. If you're just going to be spending time on things that uh, create discomfort for you, as in you start aspiring for that when you know that's not your focus, or when you s- start looking at the negative aspects of social media, then it's a problem. But if you're so using social media to educate yourself, to get connected to people, to stay in touch with reality, then it's okay.
Okay. Very
But
nice.
of course, it has you need to, of course, curb your time on spending on social media because there's a lot more to do than that.
Correct. Very powerful. So to come back, like we started with that, you have to understand your role a lot. You know, you have to talk to the stakeholders, you have to talk to the people. So at a senior level, it's maybe not that difficult, but for a young professional, how do they need to go about it to know more about what is expected out of them? What does their role entail and what is expected out of them? So they should, how should they go about it?
So I'll give you an example. I was just doing this session with my team yesterday, and there is a fairly mid-level guy who handles payroll. And I asked him, what do you do? And the answer he gave me is, I process payroll. Then I told him, what if I was to tell you that you impact the lives of every employee? And he kind of looked at me. So I said, listen, you are ensuring that you process payroll on time so that everybody in the office is getting their salary by the last day of the month. Because they have EMIs to pay, they have rents to pay, and they need the money in their account. And you play a very critical role because you're ensuring that you're doing an error-free job on time so that every employee has a smile on their face. And I said, that's why you are here. Isn't that a powerful
Correct.
thing,
Correct.
right? So I think at a junior level, um, it's not their fault if they don't know why they are there. It is very important for the manager to make them realize the importance of their role in the organization.
Correct.
And in case the manager is unable to do that, you go to your manager and ask,
Very nice.
how can I impact people in the role that I'm handling? HR is a very powerful function. And unfortunately, many organizations do not value HR, uh, do not see the power of HR, but I think it's a very powerful uh, function because we touch the lives of every employee in the organization. And if the employees are happy with the basic requirements, if they don't have to worry about the basic requirements, they are going to do well in their jobs. So you're indirectly impacting the organization as well,
Obviously, correct.
right? So I think it's about understanding, uh, reaching out and trying to figure out. You can reach out to, like I told you, go talk to your stakeholders. And your stakeholders are any employee, right? As HR, so
Correct.
every employee is your stakeholder. But if you're in payroll, then talk to employees to understand what are their pain points.
Hmm.
How can you help them?
Hmm.
Right? Uh, and it can be even within your team. Talk to people within your team because they are also employees who are getting salaries on the last day of the month, right? Talk to them as I'm giving the same example, hence I'm talk to them, ask them what are their pain points. Are they getting so for example, one of the things of payroll is also your salary breakup. So
Hmm.
I'll check with them. Do you think you understand your salary breakup? Can
Very
I do
nice.
something better to ensure it's done in a better manner so it's easier for you to whatever it could be. So I think just talk to people around you
Hmm.
to understand how impactful your role can be if it is not already impactful, and see how you can make it so with the feedback that you get. So I think at any level, that is a very basic requirement, and you can do that whether you are a fresher or you are at a senior leadership level. I think this is a very basic, fundamental way of looking at how you can create impact.
So how should, so another learning which I would want you to share is how to go about it. So everybody is living in their own bubble. So during lunchtime, do they make an effort to have lunch with somebody else, with somebody from the other department, or maybe their own team member, or during a coffee break they try and do that, or generally they just take out half an hour, 1 hour every day, or whatever time in a week that this time they have to do and meet people. So how should they go about it? What would be your suggestions?
Multiple ways. I think organizations always provide informal and formal forums for people to communicate,
Hmm.
and one should make the best use of it. Like you rightly said, maybe, lunch, everybody prefers to have lunch, tea with their own smaller,
Just to
groups.
relax and
Um,
yeah.
yeah, so maybe it may not be the right time, I would say. But take out that 10 minutes, 15 minutes. You go, many times people travel with
Mm-hmm.
others from other
Mm-hmm.
departments.
Mm-hmm.
So while traveling, check with them. Uh, Whenever you feel you have some time, let's say a half an hour where you're not doing much, walk up to people and talk to them. So just find ways. I think there's no set rule to that.
Mm-hmm.
However, not too many people are comfortable having those conversations over tea and
Mm-hmm.
lunch because they like to go with their own group. So you
Mm-hmm.
have to pull out that 10-15 minutes to go talk to people. That's how you can do this. And like I said, if you're traveling with people from other departments, you can use that travel time to talk to them. Uh, you could call for meetings with people and talk to them. You can tell your manager, I want to talk to these five people today. So can I, call for that meeting? It's up to you. I think it's about how you want. I believe while there is leadership defined in a hierarchy, I think at every level there are leaders
Very
who
powerful.
stand out compared to the others, and they stand out because of these small things that they do differently.
One thing people are scared of is going and talking to their boss or to the management on what they need to do to excel. So any points on that?
I just think being scared is one, but so for example, let's say, so I have my team. Under my team, there are team leaders. Under the team leaders, there are smaller team leaders, and then there could be. I'm just giving you. It may not be
Correct.
that many. I'm just saying, and then there is a junior person there,
Correct.
and probably I may not know that individual at such a personal level that if he or she comes and talks to me, I'm able to tell him or her that you should improve in this. So even for the management, it's not that, they don't want to talk to you. It's just about, how will they give you feedback when they don't know you that well? And I think that's how most managers, most senior people, senior leaders are. They do not know everyone right up to the ground level in their teams. So giving a one-on-one feedback may be something that they also may not be comfortable doing. However, nothing stops one to go up to a senior person, spend time to just understand what they expect from the role,
Mm-hmm.
what they expect from the department,
Mm-hmm.
how do they see the department growing, right? And I think when it is about learning, one should not have the fear about approaching anyone in the hierarchy to have a
Mm-hmm.
conversation with. But I don't want to also sound very rosy about this or sound 30,000 feet high about this. The fact of the matter is many senior leaders do not give that kind of time to people at the junior level. Uh, so I won't say it's that easy for them as well. Not all senior leaders are approachable. Uh, so it may not be that easy. So it's good for them to start with going to people who are at arm's reach for them in the leadership team. And as they grow, obviously they'll get exposed to the senior leaders. That's how I would look at it. But if you have an opportunity where you have a senior leader who's approachable, who's willing to talk to you, I don't think you should miss those opportunities as well.
Correct. There's also a lot of pressure on the youngsters, looking at their periods. So I'm only earning only this much. My classmate is earning that much. You know, so again, that's a fact which causes a lot of conflict, internal conflict. So how to handle that?
So, one of the things that I have learned over the years is that one should never compare oneself with others because everybody's journeys are different. So, to give you a very simple example, I come from a traditional Gujarati family. We all get married when we are very young. I moved out of my marriage and started a career. All my other cousins are married. They don't have to worry about earning a living. They have other worries. They have much more than I do, uh, but that's their life, and I have never compared myself to them because my journey and my life has been very different. So I cannot say that my cousin is younger to me, but she's doing so well for herself vis-a-vis me. I can't do that. My journey has been totally different. And the moment I am very proud of about what I have achieved in my life, I will stop comparing myself to others. And I think one should always be focused on that. Where was I yesterday to where am I today? And
Compete
I
with
think,
yourself.
yeah, the moment we compare ourselves to others, we are going to stay unhappy. You could be in the same batch. Talking about batch, if I talk about my classmates, again, there are some classmates of mine who are doing extremely well for themselves, better than me. Some classmates who are happily married but still very well off, and again doing well from for themselves in their own space. There could be some who are not doing as well as me as well, but I have no comparison with all of them.
Correct.
I just compare myself to myself. It's very simple. And I always look at it that I'm very proud of myself from where I was to where I am today. I think it's been a journey, a milestone that I've crossed, and I'm extremely proud of myself. So I never compare myself to others. And the moment that happens, I think you're in a much better space. Yes, there are days when you have self-doubts. There are days when you do compare. Let's say in the office, a day doesn't go well because you've not been recognized for your work. So you start comparing कि मैं इतना मेहनत करती हूँ but still I'm here only, but look at that person, my level,
Correct. Correct.
my peer in the office not doing anything but getting better than me. Could be. And being in HR, we get we have exposure to everybody's compensation, right? So it's not easy, but it's no comparison. It's a career that I chose. It's an organization that I chose. It's whatever I've chosen is what I have chosen. So why would I compare myself to anybody else?
Very powerful.
Right? And one thing that I strongly believe in, what is destined for you will come to you no matter what. What is not destined for you will never come to you no matter what. And this is very powerful. I strongly believe in that over the years, of course. I never believed in this initially, but over the years, I think I've started believing in this more and more.
Very
So
powerful. Very powerful, Nandini. So time is flying by. I mean, I don't. It's we have been talking for so long, and it seems like we started talking only an instant back. So I wanted to cover so many things. So anything else you would want to share for the young HR professionals? You have already shared so much, but in case anything to add on to that.
I think for HR, one of the things I want to tell all HR professionals is HR is not just about talking to people. It's not just about socializing. It's about making a difference in the lives of every employee. And the reason I'm saying what I'm saying is whenever I talk to students uh, from HR background, the reason that I ask them, why do you choose HR? And most of them say, because I like to socialize. I like to talk to people. So I want to be in the people function. But HR is not about that. There is much, much more to HR. And and I think it is also a function, while it's considered as a cost center in most organizations. Human resources are considered, they're considered as resources that bring cost. But I think HR has the power to convert those cost centers to highly productive resources in the organization. And you you play a very big role in that, and it's not just about talking to people. It's much, much beyond that. So I would want to leave all HR students with that don't come with a mindset that it's just about this. It's about making a difference to the organization and to every employee in the organization.
Very powerful. And Nandini, so for mid-level HR people, anything you would like to address to them?
Like I told earlier also, just don't do things because you have to do it. Understand what your stakeholders require, and put a plan together to ensure that you're adding value to your stakeholders. I think that's very important.
Senior level HR people.
I think at a senior level, it becomes very important. So I think so there are multiple things. One is we talk about I've spoken about buy-in of stakeholders, but I think one of the biggest buy-ins you require is of your team.
Okay.
And that comes with continuous communication
Mm-hmm.
on what is your vision
Mm-hmm.
as a leader. What is your vision and what is the company's expectation from the department? Uh, Putting together a plan with your team for the
Mm-hmm.
next 1 year and driving that with your team. And your role is to ensure that you're continuously motivating your team, supporting them, and coaching them in delivering those expectations. I think this is not just for an HR leader, it's for every
Correct.
leader in the organization, that we play a very important role to hold our team together and to be able to you need to be available for your team in any form that they require, and not use your power or your authority on them. And that's what we call as servant leadership in a nutshell.
Very nice. Very nice. Very powerful, Nandini. So we started off how to excel is to have an understanding of your role, how to make a difference, and then hard work, continuous learning, understand the stakeholders, what are they looking for, practical applications of HR, and making a difference. The biggest underlining factors to make a difference in the lives of people. So thank you, Nandini. It has been a pleasure, and it has been almost an hour. I didn't realize.
Yeah, actually.
I was rushing by so fast. So thank you so much. Thanks for
Thank you
sharing
so
these
much, Amit.
insights.
Wonderful interacting with you. Thanks a lot. Thank you.